Let me tell you something real quick, ladies. There's one boundary, just one, that separates the women men respect from the women men fall head over heels in love with. You see, men are simple creatures in some ways. We want a woman who's loving, nurturing, and fun. But we also want a woman who knows her worth. That's it. And that's where this boundary comes in. You ever notice how some women chase, beg, or constantly try to prove themselves? That's a fast track to him losing interest. But when a woman sets a clear boundary about how she allows herself to be treated, something magical happens. A man sees it and he starts thinking, wow, she's different. She's not just another girl. I can't take her for granted. This boundary isn't about being mean or distant. No, ma'am. It's about respecting yourself enough to know what you will and won't tolerate. And when you do that, a man doesn't just notice, you get his heart. He doesn't just stick around, he becomes committed, loyal, and genuinely in love. And here's the truth, it works not just in dating, but in marriage too. Set this one boundary and men respond. They fall in love, they stick around, and they never want to leave. Because deep down, they know they found a woman who values herself. And that is rare, baby. Let me break this down for you, ladies, because this is where a lot of women miss it. You want a man to fall in love with you forever. You want him to stick around and be loyal. It all starts with valuing yourself. Now, I don't just mean knowing your favorite color or your favorite shoes. I mean truly, deeply valuing yourself in a way that shows up in every choice you make, every word you speak, every action you take. When a man sees a woman who values herself, it changes everything. He doesn't just like you, he respects you. He doesn't just enjoy your company, he wants to protect it. And that, baby, is how you make a man fall in love forever. A lot of women make the mistake of thinking that love is all about being available, being sweet, or doing everything to make a man happy. But let me tell you something. If you are bending over backward just to prove your worth, he's never going to see it the way you hope he will. Men are wired to respect boundaries, and boundaries are rooted in self-value. When you know your worth, you automatically create boundaries, whether you realize it or not. You won't accept disrespect, you won't tolerate games, and you won't chase after someone who isn't willing to show up fully. And that, my sister, is magnetic. Valuing yourself means understanding that your time is precious. It means you don't drop everything every time a man calls. It means you have your own goals, your own life, your own standards, and you are not willing to compromise those just to please him. Because here's the truth. A man doesn't respect what he can get for free. If you are constantly available, constantly saying yes, constantly putting his needs above your own, he's going to take it for granted. But when a man sees a woman who loves herself enough to protect her time, her energy, and her heart, he starts to pay attention. He starts to recognize this woman is not like the rest. I can't just treat her any kind of way. It also means speaking up for yourself. If something bothers you, you say it. If something doesn't feel right, you don't ignore it. A man wants a woman who communicates her feelings, who knows what she wants, and who refuses to settle for less than she deserves. That level of self-respect is rare, and men know it. When you value yourself, you are not afraid to walk away from someone who isn't treating you right. And let me tell you, there's nothing more attractive to a man than a woman who won't beg for love, but instead commands it through her own self-worth. Valuing yourself isn't arrogance. It's confidence. It's knowing that you bring something to the table that nobody else can. It's showing up in every interaction with authenticity and strength. And when a man sees that, he doesn't just fall in love, he falls in love forever. He starts to match your energy. He starts to put in the effort. He starts to show up every single day because he sees the standard you've set and he wants to rise to it. So if you want a man to be loyal, to be committed, and to love you for a lifetime, start here. Value yourself. Know your worth. Protect your heart. Respect your time and refuse to settle. When you do that, you don't just attract a man. You attract the right man, and once he's in, he's never letting go. Ladies, let me tell you something. If you want a man to fall in love with you forever, it's not just about being beautiful, kind, or fun. It's about setting clear boundaries. I'm not talking about putting up walls or being cold. No, ma'am. I'm talking about knowing exactly what you will and won't tolerate, and making that known in a way that shows strength, self-respect, and confidence. You see, men are simple in many ways, but they are smart enough to know when a woman has standards. And once a man sees a woman with standards, something happens. He starts to fall in love in a way that goes deeper than just attraction. Setting boundaries isn't about controlling him or being difficult. It's about protecting your heart, your time, and your energy. It's about saying, I deserve respect. I deserve honesty. I deserve loyalty. And when you clearly communicate these boundaries, you create a space where love can grow, not confusion. Men respond to clarity. They respond to structure. They respond to a woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to ask for it. Let me give it to you straight. Too many women get caught up trying to please a man at every turn. They'll say yes when they want to say no. They'll ignore red flags because they're afraid of losing him. And what happens? Men lose respect. They start taking it for granted. They don't see the value because there's no line being drawn. But when you set clear boundaries, something magical happens. Suddenly, he can't just take your love for granted. Suddenly, he has to step up. Suddenly, he's paying attention in ways he never did before. Boundaries also teach a man how to treat you. If you're constantly available, constantly bending over backward, or constantly excusing bad behavior, a man doesn't know what's acceptable. He doesn't know what's off limits. But when you set boundaries, you're essentially giving him a roadmap. You're saying, this is how I expect to be treated. This is what love looks like in my world. And guess what? Most men want that. Most men crave that structure because it gives them a sense of purpose in loving you correctly. It's not just about rules. It's about consistency. A boundary that's set but not enforced is worthless. You can't tell a man, I won't tolerate dishonesty, and then excuse every lie he tells. You can't say, I need respect, and then accept disrespect behavior. Men notice that inconsistency. It erodes attraction. But a woman who enforces her boundaries consistently, now that's a woman who commands love. That's a woman who makes a man sit up and pay attention because he knows he can't cross the line without consequences. Boundaries also protect your emotional well-being. When a man knows you won't tolerate mistreatment, he has to approach you with care, patience, and respect. He has to think about your feelings. He has to consider your heart. And when a man does that consistently, he doesn't just stay in a relationship. He invests in it. He falls in love in a deeper, lasting way because he sees a woman who is firm, fair, and unshakable in her self-respect. So if you want a man to love you forever, don't be afraid to set clear boundaries. Make your expectations known. Stand firm. Enforce them consistently. Protect your heart. Protect your peace. And watch how a man responds, not just with words, but with actions that show commitment, loyalty, and love that lasts a lifetime. That, my sister, is how you create a love that no man will ever want to walk away from. Ladies, let me be real with you. If you want a man to fall in love with you forever, it's not just about setting boundaries, knowing your worth, or being beautiful. It's about consistency. That word right there, consistency, is what separates the women who capture a man's heart from the ones he just enjoys spending time with. Men are creatures of habit in a lot of ways. They notice patterns, they notice how you respond over time, how you handle situations, and how you show up in their lives. And if you're consistent, if you show up in the same way day after day, guess what happens? He starts trusting you. He starts respecting you. He starts falling in love in a way that sticks. Now, let me tell you something that most women don't realize. Being inconsistent is worse than being unavailable. If one day you're loving and nurturing, and the next day you disavow, read distant, or cold, it sends a man a message of confusion. He doesn't know where he stands. He doesn't know what to expect. And men, like it or not, respond to clarity. They respond to reliability. They respond to a woman who shows up for herself and for the relationship every single day. Consistency is like glue. It holds love together. Inconsistency, that's what tears it apart. Think about it. If you set a boundary, like telling him you won't tolerate disrespect, but then every time he crosses the line, you let it slide, what do you think he's gonna do? He's gonna push the limit again and again because he knows there are no consequences. But if you enforce your boundary every single time, consistently, he learns very quickly that you mean what you say. He starts to respect you, not just in words, but in his actions, and that respect, that's the foundation of lasting love. Consistency also builds trust. Trust is what makes a man feel safe with you, and safety is what makes him fall in love. If he knows that no matter what happens, you're going to act with integrity. Stay true to yourself and treat him fairly. He can relax. He doesn't have to constantly guess how you'll react or worry about your feelings changing on a whim. He knows you are steady, reliable, and authentic. And that steadiness is rare, ladies, very rare. A man will notice it and he will value it more than you can imagine. Another thing about consistency, it's not about perfection. You don't have to be flawless and you don't have to get it right every single time. But you do have to show up with effort and intention. If you say you're going to communicate. If you say you need respect, maintain that standard. If you say you're going to love in a steady, unwavering way. Men are drawn to that kind of energy because it creates stability and clarity. It shows them that your love is not fleeting. Your love is not conditional. Your love is a choice every day. And when a man sees that, he locks in emotionally. Ladies, let me leave you with this truth. Consistency is the silent magnet in love. It's what keeps a man committed, loyal, and deeply in love with you. He doesn't have to question your heart. He doesn't have to wonder if today you'll be different than yesterday. He trusts you. He relies on you. And when that trust and reliance are built over time, he doesn't just stay in the relationship. He falls in love all over again, every day. So if you want a man to fall in love forever, remember this. It's not just about being strong, setting boundaries, or knowing your worth. It's about showing up day after day with the same respect, love, and self-value. Consistency is what turns attraction into devotion, and devotion into a love that lasts a lifetime. Ladies, this is where so many women get it twisted. You want a man to fall in love with you forever. But too often, women think that means chasing him, proving themselves, texting too much, calling too much, or bending over backward just to be noticed. Let me tell you something real. Chasing a man will never make him fall in love. You might get attention for a minute, but respect, that's earned. And respect is what makes a man stick, commit, and fall in love in a way that lasts a lifetime. You see, men are wired to chase what they value. But if you're constantly chasing him, you're sending him the message that you don't value yourself. And here's the truth. A man can't respect what he doesn't see as rare, what he doesn't see as worth the effort. When you chase, you lower your worth in his eyes. Even if you're amazing, even if you're perfect, the chasing cancels out the magic. But when a woman holds her ground, respects herself, and doesn't beg for attention, something incredible happens. A man stays. Rut chasing her. He starts noticing her value. He starts investing his time, energy, and heart because now he knows he has to work for it. Respect over chasing isn't about being cold or mean. No, ma'am. It's about showing up in your own life, loving yourself, and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. It's about keeping your dignity, your self-respect, and your standards intact. When you do that, men don't just like you, they admire you. They don't just want you, they need you. And that need isn't desperation, it's genuine attraction built on respect. Let me give you an example. If a man texts you and you respond immediately every single time, no matter the hour, no matter what's going on in your life, he starts to take it for granted. But if you're living your life, taking your time, and only responding with intention, he notices. He sees that you have standards. He sees that your attention is valuable. And when he sees that, he can't help but respect you. And that respect is the soil where love grows. Respect also means not compromising your boundaries for attention. If he's late, flaky, or disrespectful, respect yourself enough to call it out or step back. Don't chase after excuses. Don't chase after validation. A man who truly cares will adjust his behavior. A man who respects you will rise to meet your standard. A man who doesn't, well, you already know the answer. And trust me, letting a man go who doesn't respect you is the fastest way to open the door for one who will love you correctly. Here's the key. Men want a woman who is unapologetically confident in her worth. They want a woman who doesn't chase, but instead lives her life fully with joy, ambition, and strength. That energy is magnetic. That energy says, I'm enough. You either match me or you step aside. And when a man sees that, he doesn't just like you. He falls, he invests, he commits, he cherishes, and most importantly, he stays. And so, ladies, stop thinking that love is about chasing. Stop thinking that if you prove yourself, he'll stick. The truth is the opposite. When you respect yourself first, when you hold your standards, and when you stop chasing, men chase you. And that chase, that's where lifelong love born. A man who respects you will never take you for granted. He will fight for you, invest in you, and fall in love with you deeply because he sees your value and values himself for having you in his life. Remember this, respect over chasing isn't just a strategy, it's a lifestyle. Live it, enforce it, and watch how a man who truly deserves you falls in love in a way that lasts a lifetime.